complaints, and I do get some, and I do take them under advisement, and I try to make them suggestions, and I try to incorporate them into the videos. Like to make sure that, you know, if I'm doing something wrong, and, you know, want to be told I can fix it, you know, or have better quality and all that good stuff. But I won't tell the recent complaint, but I will say this: it's my channel, and I'm pretty much just going to do it the way I have been doing. And I always wanted to do one in Klingon. I thought that would make probably people mad, you know, trying to actually say it all in Klingon, but you know, that's just the comedy in me. But anyway, that's the complaint thing, which, you know, much I don't care about that. But anyway, the ambulance, and if you notice the desk, or excuse me, the workbench, around this time, oh, and happy Easter, everyone. Around Easter time, I like to, I pretty much don't like to, I like to clean the workbench, but when I say clean is I'm real bad at, I like to dig stuff out and, you know, never put it up. And I try to find a home for most of it, but anyway, it's just one of those things. I like to have the table pretty much kind of clear, so I can do assembly line work stuff. But anyway, we were getting down to the nitty-gritty of finishing stuff, and I just had an opportunity, and plus it's Easter, not really much going on, and I had an opportunity to clean it off. And I'll show you all something. I had some big wood pieces for a table. It was actually a fish cutting table that someone was throwing away because it was broke, and I actually destroyed it because at one time, that's my Bob May mold, so I got to keep that handy. But anyway, let me move that over here. If you ever notice, I actually this workbench was my casting workbench, and I have actually fused the wood top with the frame, so if I ever get rid of it, I'll have to actually destroy it to get it apart. But anyway, that's one thing I got the wood table for, was to hide the over the resin. But I don't have cutting mats. This is actually a conveyor belt that I acquired. I think they're they're almost like self-healing. They're like cutting mats, but the conveyor belts are a little more tougher. And I got these basically 15-18 inch wide ones, and I just cut them in strips and I use them. I think they're handy. That way when I destroy it, I can just pitch it, because if you ever notice underneath here, it's actually a cutting mat, which is actually fused to it, because I actually like to spill a bunch of stuff on it. But anyway, I'm not a big fan of cutting mats. They are designed, you know, for what they're used for, but just not a big fan. So anyway, I like the black mats. I think it just makes everything much more better. But anyway, I did that this morning, and so I just needed a little more space because I got to do a couple more, got some ongoing projects. But the ambulance, I got it all assembled. I got the sirens on, the little actual siren, the lights. I got the bumpers on, the headlights. I actually put a little bit of a wash with a little how I make headlights. It's basically a white. That's just a watered down, but I did get that on. Got the chassis on, got it glued on. Got the Myers logo. I took the photo etch, which is custom photo etch like that, and I just trimmed it down. And but if you put it on the inside, it actually wouldn't look good. So I put it on the door, because that's basically what the original I was told to do, and so I did it that way. And I left it brass. I think it looks pretty sharp the way it is. And just pretty much got everything painted. Got the trim painted. Got the trim painted on the side. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I did use Mr. Silver Sharpie here. And I just basically went around the thing. I may go one more coat on it, but anyway, we'll jump that bridge when we get there. One thing I got to do is I got to add a little bit of a transparent paint just for the left and right blinker turn signal lights, and I just need to add that on there, and I can really call it good. But before I did that, I went ahead and took a basically 1 cup full of Future, and you can see where it's shiny. I did put 1 coat on. I'm going to do 1 more coat, and then I'm also going to spray the glass as well and just give it all a good shine. There's one thing about this kit that I don't like, and I tried my darndest, and it's the door. The door really doesn't fit. That's the best I can get it. It's almost like it's, I think the arm that goes on the inside, I think it's actually wasn't molded right, but it's kind of hindering it once you try to get it to shut right. That's about the only thing that I don't care for, but that's the way the nature of this kit is, since it is, you know, a 60-some-odd-year-old model. But anyway, it is taking shape, and we're just almost done. I'm going to do a little bit of a wash on the grill just to finish that up to match the hearse, and I'm going to do 1 more coat of Future, which will be right after I hang up this turn off the camera, and then we'll do 1 more video showing the hearse and the ambulance, and then we can finish it up. But anyway, very fun project, and just a unique subject matter. And I went ahead and finished the painting the gurney, so, and that'll be loose. You can stick it in now, you know, who knows. Always like to have a little option when you have extra parts to you know, put with the model. The control box, I know this was a quick project, and that's basically all I did was took some vinyl lettering and did the off part, minimum, maximum, and you wanted the little triangle part, you know, basically for the dial, you know, show you which way to go. Doesn't move, that's basically what he wants. So the photography, the cosplay people will probably, you know, use it. One thing is, I didn't really pay much attention to the back. I never really do. I always kind of one of my little call signs. I know a lot of people, if they, you know, basically you know, cast it, I mean, it wouldn't matter, but you're not going to see the back, and it's just easier just to do it that way. But anyway, that's a quick prop. It's made from a piece of wood, styrene, and a cap from, you know, basically some type of bottle. And I did I actually put a screwed the cap on so it won't come off, and put some styrene on top of that, and painted it. It is durable, but you know, paint can do scratch off, since it's that plastic that's a you know, a cheap, I don't want to say cheap, but paint that really never sticks to it, and you know, glue don't stick to it either. But anyway, that's what I did on that. So I'm going to be shipping that off probably tomorrow. So I wanted to show that before I got done here. But anyway, finished the control prop box. Petty car, I didn't get to do anything to the petty car because I'm trying to finish the ambulance so I can get that out the door, and then we can focus more on the petty car. But I did manage to get part of it masked, and I had to find out where the orange started, and it basically starts right here. So I did get these two. Take the hood off, you can paint all this orange, and I think it curves just a little bit here, and then I'm going to mask that off and try to get the bulk of it masked off this week. That's the game plan on that, and then we can start doing some detail painting. But anyway, there is that. Hand mud, as promised. MIG comes out with a masking putty, and I think there's another one place called Panzer putty, and it's basically magnetic putty, and this is basically silly putty, just a little more harder, if you will. It comes in a little tin. It's a little hard, so I can do this with one hand here. It's very malleable. It's not sticky, and you can let me get Mr. Elbow here. You can get it really stringy. You can do it like so. You know, if you want to do you know, small camo, you know, a little pattern, you can do big, for example. You know, like so. You know, And with silly putty, you know, it always wants to start settling and, you know, lose its shape. This really doesn't, and that's one thing I like about the magnetic putty. And the magnetic putty, you basically get a little magnet when you buy it, and there's that. Pretty damn strong too. I can barely get that off, but there you have it. But anyway, it's cheap. It's like $8, and hobby stores may have it for the kids because it's like some scientific thing. But it actually, once it settles like silly putty, but it actually holds its shape a little bit better, so you have more time to go and spray it. So that's one of the cool things about it. And I may try to, if I have more time, I'll try to see if I can do a video on it or something like that. But anyway, I think it's great stuff. So hopefully we'll try to use that in the near future. Oh, I went to Harbor Freight. I had a coupon, and I went ahead and I bought some snips because I'm on a snip kick here, and these are not bad. My only really complaint's the spring on the back here. It's a little too big. I think it should wish it was smaller or encased or something like that. But speaking of sprues, Micro Mart came out these many years ago. These are cam action sprue cutters, and I want a pair. I think I saw them when they came out, and I was like, you know, well, who wants that? So, you know, years down the road now, of course, when they quit making it, that's when I want it. I would like to have a pair. I think these actually are better than a standard sprue cutter, just for the sure fact that, you know, your thumb is controlling it, and the parts are real close, so you can actually snip it and grab it at the same time. I think these are slick. I'd like to, when I've been trying to look, I cannot find a pair nowhere. I'd like to have a set of those. But anyway, that's something I am looking forward to trying to find. But anyway, I think them are, I don't know why they didn't pick up either. You know, I think that's a unique tool. Just, I guess, not, you know, doing models for a long time. But anyway, I'd like to have a pair of those. So I'm looking for the cam action sprue cutters. But anyway, that's a tool that I have been looking for. I think that's what I've got going on today. Well, on this Easter, I did a little bench cleaning. Won't stay that way too long. I'm going to try my darndest to try to keep it where I can keep the projects, because I do like to have the building table, basically painting decal, and then of course we have the little drying table, is what I like to call it, with the Mr. Computer there. But anyway, we are trying to finish up Mr. Ambulance. We did finish up the control box prop, playing around with some masking putty, and we are starting to mask and paint the big petty car. So that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.